Oh, hey guys. You might be asking yourself, why am I in a bathtub? Anyway, this video is going to throw a lot at you guys. We got the star of the show, the PYXIS 12K, the Nikon ZR, the Alexa 35, my custom set of Canon FDs, the Blazar Mantis Anamorphics, and what I learned is going to shock you to your core. You can save up to 15% by switching to Geico. No. This video is not sponsored by Geico, but that would be pretty sweet. Hey guys, welcome to the video. We're doing something a little different. Usually I'm set up in my home, but I'm trying a more vlog style approach. We are driving in bright and sunny Los Angeles, California. It's almost 80 degrees on December 18th. I'm not sure how that makes sense, but we're going to pick up the Blackmagic PYXIS 12K cinema camera. As with any new camera, I always like to stress test the sensor and kind of see what it's capable of, and I have my own little ways of doing that. So we're actually going to drive to a spot where I do my astrophotography. But today we're not doing astrophotography. We are actually grabbing my friend so we can put someone in front of the camera that's a little prettier than I am. And we're just going to do a bunch of my regular tests with the PYXIS 12K. We're going to do the classic golden hour test. For me, that's the best way to do a very quick dynamic range test. I can just sort of see how it handles the highlights with the sun, how it handles the shadows, and it's nice to look at. We will be comparing it to the ZR as well, so you can see how these cameras stack up to one another. And we'll also be taking the PYXIS 12K back to my home to do some more controlled lighting scenarios. We're not really going to get too nuanced with this test. I'm not going to compare the different compressions of B-RAW that it shoots. I might compare a little bit the 12K to the 8K to the 4K, but I think for the most part, I'm going to shoot in the 12K format and get the most out of this sensor. And again, as a working cinematographer and someone who kind of learned in the narrative space, I've shot 3 feature films myself. I've worked on plenty of really big sets, and I just want to see for myself, how will this camera hold up in those types of scenarios? And then tomorrow we're going to match the PYXIS 12K with the cream of the crop cinema camera, the Alexa 35. We're going to be testing with my vintage set of Canon FDs as well as the Blazar Mantis Anamorphics. So this video is going to throw a lot of really cool stuff at you so you can get an idea of kind of how the PYXIS 12K handles different scenarios, different lenses, different lighting, etc. Now the reason I'm excited about the PYXIS 12K is mostly this new sensor. It's an RGBW sensor, which is a little different from a CMOS sensor. And why that spikes my interest is because it can shoot 12K open gate RAW, but it can also shoot 8K and 4K without cropping in on the sensor. So you can scale down and save a lot of data with that 8K and 4K, but still get an open gate full frame look. Now, I'm not necessarily in the market for a cinema camera. I've owned cinema cameras in the past, and my need or desire for a cinema camera kind of goes up and down. You do have to remember, when you purchase a cinema camera, that does come with other things. The rigs are bigger, usually it needs a bigger team surrounding it, and it does limit you on the types of scenarios you can put it in. And the gap in image quality is closing significantly. So I can get cinema grade imagery with my Nikon ZR, but I can keep it small and keep it moving in a lot of different ways. The other reason I haven't really invested in a cinema camera in a while is just because how much they lose value as soon as you buy them. For example, I think the Red Monstro was roughly $80,000 when it came out. Then Red lowered it to something like $50,000, and now you can buy one used for around $8,000 to $10,000. So it lost a tremendous amount of value. What piques my interest with the PYXIS is it has a starting price of $5,500. When you're dealing with that low of a price, it doesn't have that much wiggle room to lose a ton of value, and you can make your money back quicker on it. So anything 5 to 10 grand or below, it's just not as risky because you know you're not going to be losing that much of your investment on it. So all of those things considered make me very curious about the PYXIS 12K. We're about to roll up here at the rental house, pick it up, and run it through its paces. All right, hey guys, we're out here in the Los Angeles National Forest, the beautiful mountains with my friend Clarice shooting some stuff. So here we have the PYXIS 12K and the Mosquito and the Mantis Prime Anamorphic lenses. So we're having some fun with those. I'm comparing a little bit with the Nikon ZR, but mostly we're here to see what this guy's capable of, see how much detail it captures in these mountains, see how it handles the highlights. The sun did go down, but we managed to pop some shots off before that to really see the dynamic range of this camera. And we're gonna swap to my FDs and kind of get that 3.2 open gate look and see how that looks.
Give me my first kiss, crowded and fenced in a garden, ribs hurting fast without pardon, so innocent, like the first time, like the first lights. Let there be light, let there be light, let there be light. Betrayer's kiss, broken bread torn for the friendship, a contract that's sealed with a quick whip. You know I won't go. Tested and true, busted and used. It's all for you. It's all for you. I'm all for you. Give me the aged kiss, rattle and hold in my last breath, waiting for war to be shaken, emotions so still, all through the years, tangled in fear. Still you're here, and still you're here, still you're here.
That song's so pretty. All right, there's a lot going on in that footage and plenty to talk about. We're not gonna dive into all of it yet because we're still gonna put the PYXIS 12K through some other scenarios in this upcoming segment. We're gonna put it against the Nikon ZR and the Alexa 35 and also test some overexposure and underexposure shots. But some brief thoughts based on what we just saw. Amazing camera. So we can get into the highlight feature real quick, the 12K resolution. Now for me, that's kind of a scary number. Is it gonna be too sharp? Is it gonna be too clinical? But I actually found it really pleasing. You can see in this test with my eyes that the detail is pretty insane at 12K. You can especially see it in the eyelashes. But what I love about it is it's not overtly sharp. I think there's a huge difference between sharp and resolute. So although this camera has an extremely resolute image, I did not find it to have a sharp image. For sharpness, I'm looking at things like edges and corners, and it kind of has that digital feel to it. If anything, the amount of resolution at 12K actually created a pretty smooth gradient with all the edges. So I didn't find it sharp at all. I found it very smooth, very detailed, and very organic. It is nice that you can crop in at a tremendous amount, but I think for the most part, I'd be probably shooting in 8K on this camera, and then even 4K for quicker, maybe straight to social type of videos. I do love that this RGBW sensor allows you to get all those resolutions in RAW with no crop to the image. Very nice touch, Blackmagic. I was also surprised to find that my computer ran through the 12K footage like butter. I have a Mac Studio, it's an M4 Max, and it's not even kitted out the full extent. I think it's 48 gigs of RAM. So however B-RAW is handling its compression, mixed with its integration into DaVinci Resolve, it's doing it beautifully. But the storage can get pretty insane. I do know going down to 8K and 4K does adjust your dynamic range. So it moves about a stop out of the highlights into the shadows. But that's a pretty simple thing to account for. So speaking of dynamic range, a lot of people are comparing this camera to the OG Alexa. Although I did not find it to be that good, because nothing is other than an Alexa, it actually did come pretty close. You can see in this sunset shot, the sun was out and it was moving fast, so I had to really rush. I admittedly completely botched the image by probably 3 or 4 stops over. And I still recovered a lot of that information back in the highlights. I didn't love the highlight roll off, but when you're overexposing an image by that much, you're gonna clip and it's not gonna look wonderful. But still pretty pleasing and a lot of information there. In the shadows, I thought it handled the information pretty well, but we'll talk about that a little more after we go through this next set of tests. I found the color and the flexibility of the color to also be very pleasing. Everything just had a really nice organic look to it. I didn't really find anything too digital or video looking. But I'll get to my overall thoughts in a second. Let's get to these next tests where I compare it to my Nikon ZR, the Alexa 35, as well as some additional stress tests that I put the sensor through. For the previous footage and this footage, unless it's otherwise noted, everything was shot at ISO 800. All the cameras were in open gate or whatever their max resolution is. For the Nikon ZR, everything is in red RAW at 6K. And the Alexa 35 I shot in ProRes. I'll warn you, the Alexa 35 footage is very underwhelming. I only had a brief moment with the camera and I just wanted to pop a quick test off. But I think it's worth looking at. And we continued to use a variation of my personal set of Canon FDs and my Blazar Mantis Anamorphics. You'll quickly be able to tell what lenses are being used just by the aspect ratio. Let's check it out. Okay, a lot to go through in that video. Let's start with the Alexa 35. Obviously that is like the royalty of all cinema cameras. Unfortunately, I didn't really have time to do any additional tests with that camera. But I think the quick shot that I did get off has a nice range. It's a pretty dark living room with pretty bright daylight coming through those windows. The PYXIS 12K held up beautifully. Obviously the color's not the same, but both of those cameras handled that scenario really well. As did the Nikon ZR, but we'll get to that in a bit. So to answer that question real quick and get it out of the way, is the PYXIS 12K as good as in Alexa? No, like I've said in other videos, nothing is like an Alexa other than an Alexa. But does it come pretty close for $5,500? Yeah, it does not play as nice in the shadows, and we'll also get to that in a bit. But if you expose your image properly and you have controlled lighting, all these cameras are gonna do an amazing job. Speaking of proper exposure, let's dig into the over and under of the PYXIS 12K. I thought overexposed, it performed really well. At 4 stops over, you can still get tons of detail back. Underexposed, different story. When it comes to the shadows, the PYXIS 12K doesn't really have a gentle fall off. Around 2 to 3 stops, it's mostly fine, and then suddenly when you hit that 4 range, it's a party, and only one guest is invited. Noise. It gets pretty ugly if you underexpose too much. I think the 12K resolution helps to make that noise a little finer, but it gets pretty colorful and blocky if you're lifting those shadows too much. Some of this can be cleaned up with noise reduction, but I think if you're underexposing around 4 stops, it's pretty unusable. But that being said, if you're underexposing any camera by 4 stops, put the camera down. Relearn some things and then pick it back up. So the PYXIS 12K does not play as nice in the shadows, but honestly most digital sensors don't. Noise is going to be a problem on any sensor, so if you just kind of learn the sensor's range, expose properly, you'll be fine. As far as how to expose the PYXIS 12K, I found just even looking at what's on the monitor is pretty accurate. It does have false color and waveform and all those wonderful tools, but I don't think this is necessarily a camera where there's a rule, like overexpose by 1 stop and bring it back down. I think you can be pretty confident with the PYXIS 12K by just baking in the look that you want. That being said, overexposing a bit and bringing it back down in post doesn't hurt anybody. On any digital camera, even an Alexa, that is just going to clean up your noise. So if you want to do that on the PYXIS 12K, it certainly does have the range. So that leaves us with, you guessed it, the Nikon ZR. I thought I wasn't going to talk about this camera that much anymore, but it keeps finding a way to kind of Trojan horse itself into my videos. It's just that good. Overexposure, the Nikon ZR also performed really well. You can see in the more frosted part of the window here that the PYXIS 12K does recover a little bit more highlight information. It's not surprising, and you can see the same in this sunset shot. But we're also talking about massively overexposed shots here, and I thought for $2,200 the Nikon ZR did a really amazing job. Which brings us to just exposing your image properly. If you're hitting these sensors with the right amount of light, I don't think you can even tell the difference. And then underexposure. Both these cameras did not do so well with underexposure, but yes, the Nikon ZR did do worse. The noise is pretty ugly and it gets pretty ugly pretty fast. It's very blocky, and at extreme underexposures, it still seems to have that flicker problem, which I hope Nikon gets rid of on a firmware update. But I think where the ZR stands out is that second base ISO of 6400. That's just not something the PYXIS 12K can do, or the Alexa 35, which you can see here gives you a really clean image at a very high ISO. You can bump the ISO of the PYXIS 12K, which I did in these tests, and it cleans up okay, but again, it does get too noisy for my taste. So although this video is about the PYXIS 12K, I think my main finding was just, again, how good the Nikon ZR is. I've exclusively shot with the Nikon ZR the past month and a half or so, so I thought maybe I was getting a bias because at this point I'm just kind of used to the image. But once I stacked it up to these other higher end cameras, it really just reminded me how gorgeous that red raw really is. There's just something about the texture, the motion cadence, and just the thickness of the negative that gives it this really cinematic look. And I have never seen that before in a camera that's about $2,000. As far as the PYXIS 12K goes, I also thought it had a really nice organic look to it. I thought the motion cadence and the texture was really nice, and it did offer a very cinematic look. I would absolutely use the PYXIS 12K on narrative work. But would I buy it? That's a hard question. It really depends what you're in the market for. As I said in the beginning of the video, I'm not really looking to own a cinema camera again anytime soon, or maybe ever. And that's kind of how I want it. Ideally, I like production to rent everything, I go to set, I use it, and I come back to a home with little to no gear. In a perfect world. But if I was in the market for a cinema camera again, I would highly consider the PYXIS 12K. At $5,500, it's definitely a steal for what you're getting. I think in that price range, the only competition for me personally would be a used Red Monstro. I think Red just nailed the look of the Monstro. I love that sensor. But it is an older camera, it still uses the old Red media, and you do need a little more to kind of kit it out. I do love that the PYXIS 12K uses CF Express B cards, and you can pretty much just throw a battery on it and get shooting. So, final thoughts. PYXIS 12K, amazing camera. Nikon ZR, amazing camera. Alexa 35, amazing camera. And if anything, that just tells me it's insane how much the gap has closed in image quality. Here I am comparing cameras in the range of $2,000 to $90,000, and all of them are getting great results. That makes me feel very lucky to be a filmmaker in this day and age. That's it for this video, and I would love to make a lot more content in 2026. So I'm gonna do the cheesy thing here and say hit like and subscribe, and please leave ideas in the comments for the types of videos you guys wanna see from me. The next video I have planned very well could throw some 16mm film in the mix, and I'm pretty excited about that. If you haven't perused through my channel already, please do so. There's already a lot of content on here that has to do with filmmaking tips and tricks, mostly specific to cinematography. And I'd love to keep growing this channel to become a real filmmaking community where there's tons to learn. I'll see you guys on the next one.